And welcome back to the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose, day one of the open bracket. We've already completed open bracket 1, where we saw 3 players qualify earlier on. But now we are going to find out our last players in to the round of 16. The game above in the winners bracket is still going on, amazingly. It's True is really making a bit of a meal of this, James, actually. He's 1-1 right now with Revival in the upper bracket, which means he'll have gone through the upper bracket if he wins, having dropped a map in every single one of his games so far. Not particularly how we thought he would go through the bracket, is it? 2-1 against Top, 2-1 against Harstem, and currently right now it's 1-1 between True and Revival in the upper bracket.
I don't know, I think ZvZ is its own beast in the end, right? And Revival has shown in the past that he's able to do well in it. Although, I mean, if you look at his results the way through, Fog was actually able to take a game off him in that, and again, that kind of shows the potential that it is its own beast. So.
Absolutely, yeah. 2-0 against Cats, a great result for Fog. 2-1 down, obviously, against Revival, so taking a map off Revival and taking a map off Harstem. He's had a terrific tournament, regardless of where he's finished, really. Symbol was the other player that came through, so we do have a rematch in our lower bracket final. So the last player out of this group to join True and Revival will be either Symbol or Harstem, which is... well, it's quite interesting because it takes us back to the start of the open bracket, which is the result that they had earlier on, which Harstem won. So if we get the Korean reverse curse, then that means Symbol goes through. So Harstem's got to stop that. How is he going to do it?
I'm not entirely sure, really. Come
on, James, you're supposed to have all the answers.
All right, okay, let's pretend. No, okay, so after thinking about it for a moment there, I kind of feel I have the answer to it, and I think it's... it comes back to what I was saying when I was casting one of the previous series with Rotterdam, which was, it seems that Harstem has gained more and more confidence as the day has gone on in the matchup. Again, if you look back at his very first game against Symbol, it was this kind of just 7-gate let's go. Then the next win was kind of the Dark Templars into macro, but then the first win against True was the pure macro.
Solid, straight-up build, good engagements, good fights.
So I think Harstem probably go into it with a degree of confidence in this particular matchup now, and I think he would be right in doing so because he's looked good in the matchup all day long, and I think he can stand toe-to-toe with someone like Symbol in the longer game. So I think that's something that he has to rely on in this regard.
Okay, well, we'll see how it pans out. Map vetoes are incoming any moment now. What sort of impact are they going to have, if any?
None, because it's going to be the same 3 that we've seen all day long.
Spice it up a little bit. It's not. It's going to be Foxtrot.
Okay,
it's going to be Deadwing.
Deadwing will be vetoed 3rd instead of 1st.
We're going on the order of the vetoes right now. Okay, and you got vetoed off the caster desk as well. What happened there?
I'm kind of tired.
Right.
Okay. They didn't want me on.
Jet lagged.
Yeah.
And then the jokes were coming out last time, which means that Sean's probably tired as well, and he's not very well. He's done well to hold in there today.
That's generally what happens, and especially in Intel Extreme Masters qualifiers, when me and Sean have been casting for 8 hours straight, and then we get a bit crazy, and then we start talking about other things like One Direction. Who would talk about that?
Yes, or the Wrong Direction, as Rotterdam called them, which I thought was quite
brilliant. I don't think that was intentional.
I don't think it was.
No, it wasn't.
I don't think he realised. As we said, the map vetoes are incoming very shortly. The 2 brackets that we've had today, and having 6 players go through, what difference has that made, do you think, in terms of the way that the tournament's now set up? I mean, obviously disappointing to lose players of the calibre of Major and Scala having qualified in, but do you think we're getting adequate or better replacements?
I think they're adequate. I think overall, if you consider what we got from Open Bracket 1 with someone like, let's just basically say the direct translation was losing Major, gaining someone like Hook, for example. I think that's a fair trade. Yeah. In the Americas as a whole.
So if you follow that theory, then we should lose Scarlet and gain Harstem?
I guess that's the kind of case, whereas Scarlet's technically proved a little bit more in terms of the foreign scene, etc., and stuff like that. But so I think overall the trades have been good. Of course, there's the potential that Symbol can still go on, because there is obviously the potential for him to just adapt to his opponent, as he's been able to see Harstem playing this matchup all day now. So yeah, I think he could adapt.
We're just hearing as well that True has actually won that upper bracket game, so he has qualified top of Open Bracket 2, which it does make a difference as well. Let me just explain if you're just joining us and you're thinking, well, that makes no difference, they're both through. Absolutely they are, but because we had 2 people pull out of the group stages, the 2 winners of the Open Brackets today, Open Bracket 1 earlier on and Open Bracket 2 now, will be given those slots in the group stages, so they'll go into position 2 or 3, which means their first game is against one of the unranked players in the group, rather than the top seed in each of the groups, which the 4 players who finish outside of that in the open brackets will fill those last 4 spots. So it does make a difference. True will then go into that group, and his first game will either be Snoot or it'll be Hyun. I mean, that's the way that the groups are panned out. Either way, it's a tough game for both players, whatever way you look at it. But I mean, he said earlier on, I think he quite fancies a crack at Snoot for some revenge. I mean, just because I think that's who knocked him out at DreamHack, right?
I think he may have done.
Yeah.
Can't quite recall.
Or was it IEM Toronto? That's what it was, yeah.
I think he may have done. Can't quite recall.
Yeah, it was IEM Toronto.
Doing really well now.
My jet-lagged, addled mind has just reminded me it was IEM Toronto.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great, thanks.
So that's good. I can archive and recall at some point. It's quite good.
Awesome.
We're talking complete nonsense, as you've probably realised by now. How have you enjoyed the games so far today, as we do go into the map veto?
Been really good, especially in the second bracket. We're basically, today in the second half of the day is the story of Harstem. We've actually kind of condensed down the year of Harstem into bite-sized chunks. And now
Day of Harstem.
Day of Harstem. It's, following them a lot.
Okay, so we're going to see Deadwing, Foxtrot and Nimbus all picked here.
Yeah, basically. Deadwing will go first.
No, they're going to be the 3 map picks.
Oh, they're on the opposite side.
No, it's the opposite way around. So those in red are now the map picks.
No, wait. Definitely not. Let's not do that.
Yeah, that would confuse a lot of people, wouldn't it? So Nimbus obviously vetoed out. Merry-Go-Round's gone as well.
You remember when I said Deadwing will be 3rd?
You did.
Let's go. Yes.
There it is. What a winner. Chicken dinner.
The sickest of predictions.
And Foxtrot will be the next one. Oh, what do you look at that? Well, that's a shock map pool, isn't it?
No.
Catalina, King Sejong Station, and Overgrowth. That's a shocking set of maps.
Why do we even have the other maps?
Expecting that.
Oh, not at all. Oh, look, Catalina's going to be first. And then, actually, this...
Overgrowth second.
It's like the complete turnaround, really, of what we saw from the first series. Correct me if... No, I think we saw first, then King Sejong, then Catalina. So we see Catalina now, which kind of gives us a little bit of a more interesting dynamic in this series, because, again, it is a little bit more harder for Protoss, but every single time we've seen Harstem been playing on this map, he has gone for the idea of this 3rd base, trying to kind of establish that and then go on further. Admittedly, with a few DTs in the mix against Symbol before, but we'll see if he wants to go for that kind of macro play again.
Okay, let's head over to the commentary desk, where the final game of the day will be commentated by Rotterdam and Todd.
Thank you very much, gentlemen. Good analysis there, and good predictions as well on the map pool. Johan, I'm blown away.
Right, I got very good at predicting the map veto, and Kailar is calling that Deadwing 3rd man.
That was solid as
well.
What
an expert.
Hey, they have their moment, once in a while, they are right. Just kidding,
I knew
boys.
this was going somewhere like this, man. We're gonna start this cast with a bang. I actually love the chatter over there. Something was said which I did not really understand. Red Eye said something like, "Do they fancy a cracker?" Or like well, sometimes they speak their own language.
I know they always fancy a cracker. Over here we see Harstem. He's of course getting ready. He's had a great day. He played very, very well against Simbo in his first series of the day. He gives us the double peace sign as well. Even the second series against Drew, I spoke with him a little bit about it as well. He wasn't too, he's like, oh man, it was tricky. But he said, I just hate the way that it was played out. Burrow is very annoying to deal with, kind of what I said as well.
Kept his head up, and now he's going to go up against the Symbol, who bounced back very well. He's actually looking very confident here and relaxed, just waving at us, giving us a thumbs up sign.
He's a happy fellow as well, isn't he?
Yeah, he's always happy, except maybe when he lost that first match to Harstem. Didn't look too happy then, but he bounced back very well. He beat Top and now beat Seed, who I think Seed, I've always thought of him as a very good Protoss versus Zerg player, even in the dark ages of the Broodlord Infestor era. That's how good he was.
Of course, once upon a time, Seed was a GSL Codas champion. A little bit of a forgotten champion, but for the longest amount of time, MC was the only Protoss to ever win a GSL Codas, and then we had Seed.
Only Protosses know that he won the GSL because it was a PvP finals and nobody else than Protosses tuned in.
Yeah, and that PvP finals also lasted like 40 minutes, so you had to tune in at the right moment, because before you know it was over. Anyways, we are loaded into the final best of 3 of the day. We're opening up on Catalina, and over here at the 1 o'clock position, we have the Zerg player Symbol, who of course wants to take his sweet revenge on Harstem. As earlier today it didn't go all that well for him. It was a good series between the two. That final game was on Catalina back then. But this man, the Dutch Protoss, has a great name. It's Kevin. We also know him as Harstem.
I was wondering where this was going. One thing from Symbol in his previous games, he goes double hatched and pull a lot. So it's going to be a good opportunity here, this rematch for Harstem, to possibly try something against this, you know? Maybe a cannon rush, maybe a proxy. Maybe to play even more greedy himself with the Nexus 17, Gate 17, which is only the most hardcore of us try this one, you know? Even you and I, we don't really do that. We're not hardcore enough for it, man.
No, the only dice I roll at the crab stable, Johan.
God knows how that goes for you.
Probably as well as the Nexus first would go. You see the gate being wiped in. So far everything is very standard for Kev. I really love the way how he played earlier today. Like I mentioned before in the analysis, of course he got a little bit fortunate with his very first DTs. If you open up with a Dark Shrine and you do damage, that's always a nice position to play from, because you know there's not those super scary moments anymore. You're still gonna have to control your army well, especially against those annoying Vipers, like I like to refer to them, as I do think they're very annoying. As Blinding Cloud is just an annoying spell, let's be honest.
Yeah, especially if you stand in it.
Yes, and then like you use you want to retreat, and then you A move, and then everything runs forward, and you're just like, no, don't do that.
Yeah, it's very difficult. Like you need a
lot
very
of
good
hold.
Templar control and placements.
And a lot of hold position micro as well, because you still want the units in the back of your army to shoot, but if you attack move once again, and your units just run forward. Harstem scouts on the left side of the map first. So he's going to see, alright, there's no hatchery being taken. There you go, Johan. On the money when it comes to the double hatch before pool. Or as Apollo would say, on the butter.
On what?
He said like on the butter.
What the hell?
Like you said, they have their own language.
Only Apollo. Actually, any of these guys, any of these Brits.
I'm
would
curious to
use
see when Symbol is going to take his extractor. He might play this very greedy and go gasless for a while. Harstem does always check for the extractors though, and I think if he sees that Symbol is going to do this without an extractor, I wouldn't be too surprised to see Harstem put on some serious pressure. We've seen him today, even though his macro games against Zerg look solid, he's not afraid to bring out the cheese.
Oh, yeah, and Harstem also not choosing to try and punish, you know, the double hatch first. He was probably expecting already in this series in the first map, but I guess since it's Catalina, you can't really proxy and cannon rush. I mentioned that before, it's very hard to do on this map. There is actually one single spot around the natural where you can wall the... Do you know where?
Tell that to In Control that you can't rush this. He will prove you wrong.
Or SOS. Why is In Control the reference, man? SOS is the guy.
Or Wiedemans.
Yeah.
And Galzi.
In Control.
Alright,
you
so
ever watched In Control stream recently and see him cannon rush?
Yeah, of course.
Every
every time I tune in, I see cannons.
Yeah, it's funny, I used to have this one joke with this one player in the Gome house where every time I looked at his screen, there was a stain of creep on the Zerg's natural because he was opening 2 racks every single game. That's what In Control stream is like. There's always a stain.
So this is really interesting, Johan, as this is the build I always refer to. You kind of might like to make fun of me because I talk about it so often, but Harstem has seen that there is no extractor. He's using this stalker to push back. We see 2 gateways going up in the front, but he may still add another gateway. I wouldn't be too surprised, especially because he stopped mining gas for just a little bit. He could add 1 more gateway. He could also just try to be aggressive with 3 gates. But, you know, this is normally, you set yourself up for a window of opportunity to actually do some damage with this. A Zealot is heading out with a probe as well. I'm a little bit confused by the sentry, but that may just be that 1 sentry that he keeps at home. A Forge is going down as well, so Harstem is not going to go all out with this, but I'm sure that he would love to be as frustrating as possible. Symbol is producing 18 slow Zerglings, and this is, you know, one of those scenarios that if you have 4 or 5 slow Stalkers, you're going to have the time of your life against those slow Zerglings.
Yeah, we're actually trying to get a surround on the Zealot here. He's going to get it. The probe needs to get away. The Stalker is going to reinforce and help and defend, but the pylons are pretty far.
Yeah, if I was Kevin, I would actually just cancel these pylons now. You already forced out so many links, just cancel them.
Are we on the first name basis now?
Yeah, hell yeah, you know what it is. Ooh, a couple of Zerglings picking off a probe or 2, I believe, in the natural.
This is very good for Symbol, shutting down this the way he did it. That little hashtag Roddy build here. You
I-
do it with 4 gates, right?
Yeah, I do sport, definitely. The more the better.
Would have failed anyway.
Exactly, because man, I've tried it so many times the last few days, but I'm like still kind of out of shape. So always like my first stalker gets surrounded, and I get so mad. It's just like I walk into the surround. It's like my stalkers are a magnet to
You literally
Zerglings.
watch it happen, and you
Yeah.
can't do anything about it.
It's like, oh, as long as I don't lose my first stalker here, I'm all right. And it's like, whoop, there we go, surrounded by
Oh,
Slowlings.
Symbol. Set up a little bit of a trap here. He's gonna go for
Oh
the
my
full
God.
surround on these sentries and Stalker. And even with force fields
Oh,
here,
that's
Harstem
smart.
would be in trouble, so he just recalls. That means that third base, he's just gonna be cancelled by slow links.
Zerglings.
As sad as it is.
The last time I saw slow Zerglings cancel the base, I think I was casting Nurture on Cloud Kingdom, so that's a long time ago.
Wasn't it like Leenock in a DreamHack on Belcher Vestige, like doing a run by instead of the main of the Protoss? Like, how bad did you have to be to lose to slow Zerglings just all-inning your base? Yet every Protoss is somehow lost to it. God, we used to be bad at this game.
Well, for some people it used to be.
Well, for me it still is. actually.
Well, I'm on the same page.
think I'm saying
Wow,
that.
so Harstem is going to completely abandon ship. He's like, hey, I just wanted to play normal here. I want to go up to 3 bases, but my initial pressure didn't really work out. I thought I could still economically recover from that. But after being forced to recall and also having to abandon my 3rd base, I'm just going to go all out. Because if I turn this into a macro game against a player like Symbol, this is going to be extremely difficult. He's going to fake this for sure. Like, this is like an Alicia 3rd base, you know. He pretends he wants to go up to 3 bases, but he actually doesn't.
Why Alicia, man?
He,
More like Arthur. Oh, the Zerglings get into the main.
Slow
Zerglings
Yo,
still!
You cursed him! You jinxed it!
Me?
Yes!
It's you, man.
No, you jinxed it! You said, how bad do you have to be to lose to slow Zerglings?
Yeah, but
and I
Harstem
quote,
is good. If it was me, I understand that this would happen.
oh, this is
Actually, he
terrible.
doesn't take that much damage.
Oh, yeah, he did. He took a
No,
lot.
he stopped mining from some time, but how many probes did he lose?
Yeah, he lost 2 probes before, he lost 10 now. So he lost 8 probes against slow Zerglings,
Okay,
and his
9 now.
entire army is out of position.
Hey, it's not that much. And now he's gonna all in, and there's no slowlings to help and defend. But they will have speed, and there's a lot of nuance with roaches, so
Yeah.
I guess it's not gonna go that well. He's gonna need some hashtag Roddy micro.
Yep. He cancelled the Nexus like we kind of thought he would. So Harstem is going to make, as I like to call, a very uninspiring all-in.
The creep
just-
is so far out already that he
Yeah.
can't proxy pylons.
Exactly, and he doesn't have a warp. Well, he can basically do it on the left side. It's not covering all the way on the left side, but Symbol is getting the one upgrade that will truly be his way to securing victory, and that is getting Burrow. The moment he has Burrow, he should never ever lose to these gateway units anymore. He picks up the probe as well, and he gets that pylon, man.
Oh,
Things
God.
just go from bad to worse for Harstem.
I knew you were
Oh.
gonna say that before you said it.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, do you agree with it, Yo?
I got the Roddy soundboard in my brain. And these roaches are gonna get force fielded here in a nice little donuts. Symbol, he's just getting so many roaches right now. Even without Burrow, even I guess with speed is gonna finish here in a second.
That's such a nice feeling for a Zerg player when you pick up a sentry that was full on energy or like very close to being full on energy.
How do you know? You off race?
Every now and then. I just imagine what Zerg players would like, you know. I think about all the things I enjoy, killing overlords and stuff like that. This is just a terrible game for Harstem. There's really nothing else to say. Everything went wrong for him, pretty much what could have possibly gone wrong. GG, well played, and Symbol takes a very, very convincing Game 1 victory on Catalina.
Yeah, he looks a little bit bothered here.
Yeah,
As it
those
should
games
be.
are frustrating when you make one mistake, you don't make 2, but just 3, and then you go with the desperation all in. And even though he probably knew that that was not really going to work, you still want things to go at least remotely well for you. But losing the probe, losing the pylon, just over again, having a slow.
You know what's
Zergling
funny?
run
Every time I cast a PVZ where like the Protoss finally does this build you always talk about, he just fails horribly
by. No, but
and loses.
No, this wasn't really mine. Like he already added the forge. He was ready to transition. He opened up with his.
Whoa, relax.
Yeah, you know, this is different, man. Like Huck, you should talk with Huck. Huck likes my build.
Okay. And when did he do it successfully? I guess.
I've seen him do it quite a few times.
Yeah.
He often prefers the Zealots over the Stalkers, though. But sometimes he adds in a few Stalkers as well.
You know who does a crazy build like this, which is more like the Sand build, where he gets 5 gates instead of 4 and crushes Zergs? Rain. When you're gonna see Rain later against Zerg, your mind's gonna be blown, man.
Oh, well, I'm so excited to see Rain regardless.
Rain's ridiculous.
I know. Rain is like the Protoss player that even if you play Zerg or Terran, like whenever I ask Zerg or Terran players, like who's your favorite Protoss, like 9 out of 10 say Rain. It's just like he plays such a beautiful way of Protoss. I'm a little bit surprised that he...
Because he doesn't all in, actually.
No,
Or,
like-
not much. Well,
Yeah.
I guess he changed, though. Like,
Yeah.
now he started all in.
In the old days, he just never all in.
Yeah.
Like he really took his sweet time. It was like Rain was playing that campaign mission, you know, where you just have to survive, but on a certain point you die. But like Rain would just not die. He would just defend, and then at a certain point people would just get so frustrated because they can't break him, and then they make a final attack, and then he still holds.
He all in so little that I think even if Hydra had played him, he would have found nothing to say. Just, I guess he's a better player than me, which would have been the first.
Oh, Hydra. I thought you said Hydra. I was like, what's wrong? Like, since when does Hydra say a whole lot?
Hydra.
Hydra. Yes, there we go.
Our American friend.
Oh, Johan, this is a little hashtag cheeky, as Apollo would say. I'm not sure if that's a hashtag.
Hashtag dicey.
Yeah, well, no, this is more than just dicey. This is cheeky. Anyway, so on the right top side of the map, we see our Zerg player. He's up 1-0, only one map win away from qualifying for Nintendo Extreme Masters main event. It is, of course, a Symbol. And let's talk about the Red Protoss now, who is bringing out the cheeky builds over here. Taking a note out of perhaps Naniwa's playbook. Once upon a time, Naniwa had success with this in a Game 5 on Ekelon Waste against Xian. It is Harstem.
And you know, against a Zerg that opens double hatch before every single game.
What is happening, Johan?
Yeah, man. You can try and punish, but this could be very unfortunate, because I'm pretty sure that Symbol...
This is good for Symbol. This
yeah,
is
he's
really,
going for
really
Drone
good.
Scout. He's going to realize what's up, and Harstem's going to be in so much trouble. Oh, man.
This is so... I mean...
This is like when I try a cheese.
Yeah.
The opponent's always somehow like...
No, this is...
kind of not knows, but try something that will be good against it.
Right.
This is just so sad.
Let's just break it down for the people who don't really watch a whole lot of StarCraft. When you go for a build like Harstem is going right now, the only thing that you're hoping for is that Symbol goes for 2 hatcheries before a spawning pool, because that means that it takes a very, very long time before Symbol can make any sort of units. But now Symbol actually made a ridiculously early pool, up to the point where you could say it even hurts his economy, but it's still good because he's going to have such quick access to Zerglings. And now he's going to be like, lol. These Zerglings can probably even unpower the gateway or unpower the pylon.
Yeah, I just saw Harstem's expression. He knows already that he's lost, I think, pretty much. He's in a lot of trouble.
Yep, the Drone Scout is not nice. Harstem he doesn't even know about this early pool yet, right? He just knows the Drone Scout, and he's already like very frustrated that it is indeed scouted, but he doesn't even know how bad it truly is when these Zerglings are going to show up in his main mineral line. Symbol has a Spine Crawler as well. This is just the icing on the cake.
In so much trouble.
Yeah,
man.
this is not even funny, man.
What's his chances here?
Like
I feel like if he wins, I need to get a tattoo hashtag here of Harstem on my bicep.
You know, Nate had a beautiful quote once about a player that's very, very far behind, because that's pretty much what Harstem is right now. This is just
say it to us.
Well, Nathanius, in a very wise mood, once upon a time said, "He is so dead, he may as well be playing this game from his coffin." And that's pretty much how this is going for Harstem. There is just nothing he can do over here. He's going to be forced to pull his workers immediately. This pylon is taking a lot of damage. He's going to send one Zealot into the main, I think, but there is a Spine Crawler, so that's not going to do anything. A very, very unfortunate chain of events here for our Dutch Protoss player. He played phenomenal against Symbol in the first best of the day, but this series, it's been all Symbol. We got to give credit his due, and Symbol has been on the money, getting a build order win over here. Man,
ideally, I think Harstem would have liked to be able to defend with Zealots here, and then get maybe, you know, some kind of forge and then expands, you know, because he's not behind in terms of workers. He's on 12 against 9, but these Zerglings, they're gonna prevent so much mining from so long time. Yeah. There's even a drone in there. What's happening?
Yeah, that was a scouting drone, I think. He's been here throughout the entire game. That's a lot of Zerglings. Like you said, Harstem is not really behind on workers yet, but that's just like a matter of time. Now he's going to lose more than just a handful of probes. This Zealot still is not enough to just deal with all these Zerglings. I think one more Zealot is making his way across the map, but you know, the damage has been done.
Yeah, probes are gonna start dying left and right, and this should be it. Harstem, after a nice first series against Symbol, to start the groups, the open brackets here, is gonna fall to him in the rematch. GG, well played, and Symbol will be our last qualified player from the open brackets. After taking a sweet revenge, surely this must have been a sweet revenge.
Yeah, that's...
when he scouted the main of Harstem, he probably had some very happy thoughts here.
Yeah, man. He's, like Paul said before, winner, chicken dinner. This is one of these moments when you know that you're gonna have to do something very strange to mess this up. It's crazy how these Koreans sometimes have like a sixth sense in in when to cheese or when to not go for the greedy economic builds like they so often do. It's so weird. It's almost like poker, you know, how these poker players, even though without knowing, they so often make the right calls. It's like these players as well. I have no idea what triggered this first early pull throughout the entire day for Symbol. Maybe we can ask him about that, but that's just the straight up build order win.
If I was Harstem, I would be sick to my stomach. You play somebody 5 games, and in the 5th game, after somebody did the same thing 4 times, you go for the counter of the thing, and then finally he's doing something different. It's like,
He's
Are
not
you
just
serious?
he's not just playing a safer version of what he normally does, or only a single hedge. No, he's literally just like straight up winning against your build. Like the worst thing that could ever happen for a Protoss when you proxy stuff is actually playing against an early pool, because the spine. I really love the spine as well. That's just in case he didn't have to keep those Zerglings at home. Because if he keeps the Zerglings at home, then eventually he could have like a bad fight against Zealots. You know, sometimes Zealots, they have each other's back. They're Brotosses. So, you know, the Zerglings can't get the surround off. But Simbo's like, nope, not even going to worry about Zealots. Not at all. I'm going to send my Zerglings across the map. And if you want to go to my main base, well, good luck, have fun. Send your 3 Zealots. There is a Spinecrawler there. I'm going to have some defensive Zerglings by then. And I'm going to pull the drones. And there's just nothing you can do. Because at home, you're going to lose every single probe against the 8 links that I'm sending across the map.
So I guess unfortunate in last game and in the game before that,
Yep.
the Roddy build is to blame maybe.
Ah,
the
don't put it on the Roddy build, man. don't do it.
Why?
No, it wasn't the Roddy
You
build.
only want to take credit when it works?
Hey, you know what it is. All right, let's throw it over to Paul as he has Simbo on the couch. Of course, Simbo must feel very ecstatic and very relieved that he's qualified for the main event.
I would imagine he does. Thank you, Kevin and Todd. Symbol, well done. Congratulations on making it through to the round of 16. And I want to know from you why you think it is that Korean players, when they lose their first game, why do they always come back and win the second time they play someone?
As you did. 일단 16강 진출 축하드리고요. 이제 이분이 물어보고 싶은 게 한국 선수들은 이게 뭐 해외 선수들한테 먼저 이렇게 지고 난 다음에 어떻게 항상 또 다시 만날 때 이기냐고.
일단은 첫 번째 판에는 그 하르스템 선수가 약간 올인 전략을 하셨는데 제가 좀 당황해가지고 전략도 좋고 해가지고 좀 당해서 좀 무기력하게 졌는데 이제 그 올인 전략을 이제 한 번 당하면 다시 당할 때는 좀 대비책을 세우잖아요. 그래서 좀 두 번째 할 때는 제가 좀 유리했던 것 같아요. 그런 점에서.
So Symbol says, in this particular case, when I went up against Harstem the first time, he prepared some really, really good all-in builds that I was honestly taken aback by. I did not expect, and that's why it worked really well against me. But obviously, the things with all-ins are, once you encounter it once, you can prepare for it and expect it, and which is why the second time he feels he was much, much more prepared, and that's why he was able to win decisively. And I need to ask you about the relief that's on your face, because I remember when you were backstage after the first loss, you looked very, very, very upset. And now you obviously are really relieved. Talk to us about the emotions that went on the first time and now. 일단 아까 전에 처음에 졌을 때는 너무 표정이 안 좋았어요. 그래서 그때 느꼈던 감정들이랑 지금 느끼는 감정을 좀 설명해 주세요.
일단은 처음에 졌을 때 솔직히 조를 봤을 때 질 거라는 생각은 안 했어요. 처음에. 근데 져가지고 패자조 갔는데 이게 길잖아요. IEM 이번에. 그래서 처음에 오픈 브라켓 못 틀고 떨어지면은 까마득한 거예요. 그거 생각하니까 웃을 수가 없더라고요. 그래서 좀 게임에 좀 집중했던 것 같아요.
So he says, when I lost that first time against Harstem, I was so surprised because when I first looked at the bracket, I thought I'm definitely going to win. I didn't even think about the possibility that I would lose. And so when I lost, all I could think was, this tournament is so long. What am I going to do if I actually lose? And I'm in the loser's bracket now. If I just lose one more time, I'm out. And so from then on, I just focused and tried my absolute hardest. And that's why when you saw me, I probably looked so grim and I could not smile at all.
It was a pretty tough loss earlier on in the day. As you said, you had to come through the losers bracket as well, and you had to play seed down there. That was a close game as well. So talk to us about how hard it's been just coming through the open bracket before you even talk about the round of 16.
일단 아까 첫 번째 진 걸로 패자조에서 이렇게 어렵게 이렇게 올라왔는데 이게 그냥 오픈 브라켓이잖아요. 정말 대회도 아니고. 그래서 지금까지 온 게 그 어려움 대해서 좀 얘기해 주세요.
오픈 힘든 거요?
네, 지금 16강 정인데.
일단은 오픈 브라켓 이어도 잘하는 선수들이 많이 나왔기 때문에 충분히 뭐 힘든 거는 뭐 똑같다고 보고요. 일단 올라갔으니까 오픈 브라켓에서 이긴 그 동료들 목까지 좀 잘해서 빨리 안 떨어지게 좀 보여드려야 될 것 같아요. 저력을 좀. 네.
So he says, yeah, this was the open bracket, but because the player list was so stacked, it was just as hard as any other part of the tournament. And in terms of just moving onward, now that I have thankfully made it through, I'm hoping that I can just try my absolute hardest, prepare the best builds, work hard so that I don't fall out early or anything like that. I've just got to try my absolute best.
Okay. Just one final question. Who is the player you fear most in the round of 16? Who's the best player at the Intel Extreme Masters other than you?
지금 이 IEM 대회에서 이제 누가 가장 잘하는 선수인 것 같으세요? 본인 말고.
일단은 요즘 테란이 강세기 때문에
I think I might have understood that one.
크게 말하라고요?
아니 농담이었어요.
일단 테란이 강하기 때문에 테란 선수들은 다 무섭고요. 일단 뭐 그냥 테란 전부 다 센 것 같아요.
I'm actually going to try and interpret this one.
All right, let's do
I
this.
think Symbol said, I'm really worried about Terrans. I think Terrans right now are very strong.
Oh my God.
Is my
We
Korean
have
getting
a new
better?
translator here at Intel Extreme Masters.
It's not bad, right?
It was almost, he said, oh my God,
Almost.
he understood
Yeah.
me? What he doesn't realize is he said the word Terran about enough times, or you could assume. But yes, you were almost 95% accurate there. The only thing that was a little, he basically said was, this is the period of Terran. I think Terrans are very strong. I'm honestly scared of all Terrans right now.
Okay,
Close enough.
that's as good as it
Close
gets.
enough.
Thank you very much, Symbol, and thanks Sue as well today. And congratulations on winning. We'll see you in the round of 16 tomorrow. It's a good point at the end of the day. We'll go back and recap both the Open Bracket 1 and Open Bracket 2 and show you exactly how Symbol made it through and how 5 other players made it through as well. In Open Bracket 1 earlier on we saw Super and Gumio battling it out in the upper bracket, where Gumio actually made it through as the top seed to replace one of either Scarlet or Major. At the bottom of the bracket we also saw some standout performances from Puck, who made it all the way through to the winner's game in the losers bracket, but went down to his fellow North American Huck 2-1. That was Open Bracket 1, so the 3 players qualified: Super, Gumio and Huck. In Open Bracket 2 we just saw Symbol defeating Harstem for the second time round after losing in the upper bracket earlier on in the day. He then goes through in 3rd place from Open Bracket 2. And in the upper bracket we saw True, not really as strong as we thought he might be, winning 2-1 all the way through the bracket, but nevertheless he advances in 1st place, and the man taking 2nd place in that group is Revival. So True, Revival and Symbol, all 3 Koreans making it through from Open Bracket 2. So that's how Open Bracket 2 finished out. We now have our 6 players into the group stages, so I'm hoping that we can show you those group stages right now. These are the 16 players who will take part in the Intel Extreme Masters San Jose. In Group A, Rain, True, Snoot and Huck. What an absolute monster group that one is for Huck to deal with. True goes into there as another Zerg. Snoot having a ZvZ. He's not going to be particularly pleased with that. That was Scarlet was formerly in Group A. In Group B, it already had First, Polt and Jaedong, and now has Revival in there as well, another former Intel Extreme Masters champion. In Group C, 4GG, fresh off his DreamHack victory. Gumio goes into that group with Hyun and Symbol. That's a horrible group for all of them, and it's a horrible group for Symbol because he has 2 Terrans to play. Not that he'll be happy with that. There are 2 more Terrans in Group D. They were already there. QXC and Red Bull's Bomber with CJ enters hero, and they're joined by the Protoss player Super. So there you have it. There's the 16 players. Any particular standout players? James is back with me on the couch. Anything you particularly think about in terms of the 16 players that are in there now? We've already had, obviously, some players already in from the group stages, and then, of course, we've got these 6 players added in now. What's the standout group for you?
I have to go with, for me personally, I have to go with Group C. I think 4GG, Gumiho, then who else was in there? Really good players. Hyun and Symbol.
It's late, James. It's fine. It's all good.
Yeah, Hyun and Symbol were in there
Yes,
as well.
they were, yes.
That's a really, really nice group for me. I think all of the groups obviously are very, very strong at this point. Really hard to really determine which is the most powerful group. Obviously, Polt and Revival ending up in the same group is a little bit unfortunate for the CM Storm guys
Yes,
over there, but
happens a lot between those. It's a bit like the TCM guys as well. We seem to end up playing each other.
yes,
first and
more so than anybody actually.
Yeah, all the way through the year
Or
for some
Yoda
reason.
first.
Yeah. And then Group A as well looks particularly nice in terms of the way it's set up for us as the neutrals. Rain's in the group with True, so True, I don't know if he got a good deal out of winning that open bracket or not, really.
Yeah, his first game's against Rain, isn't it?
It's not against Rain, no, because he's actually in the second place.
Oh,
so he plays
okay,
Snoot
yeah.
first,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
Huck
true.
plays Rain. But to have Huck and Snoot in there as the foreign hopes is, it's quite tough, isn't it, to get out of a group with True and
Hey,
Rain.
don't forget QXC in Group D.
QXC's in Group D as well with.
He's been on
with
form
Bomber.
lately.
Yeah, with Bomber
Terrence doing
and
good.
CJ Enter's Hero and Super.
Yeah. So that's going to be difficult.
That's a tough
Admittedly, that's going to be difficult.
Yes,
as much
indeed.
as his, because watching QXC through the qualifiers and watching his versus Protoss and versus Zerg kind of play out and evolve in the past couple of months has been really nice, and he's actually looking so on form. He's playing the best StarCraft he's ever played. Whether or not that will be enough to topple that kind of group is debatable, but we'll see.
Okay. You may have just seen on your screen. Make sure you join in with the conversation, as ever, via all our social media channels. Let us know what you think about the groups, who you think might be the favourite in each of those groups, and who you might even think will go on and win the Intel Extreme Masters in San Jose. That is it for day 1 of 4. Don't forget, we're back tomorrow, though, with more action as we kick off the round of 16. Not all the games will be played, but we'll know a lot more about StarCraft 2's Intel Extreme Masters San Jose by the end of tomorrow. Once we finish tomorrow, we'll have a break on Friday, and we'll head up the coast to San Jose, to the SAP Arena, where we'll bring you live and uninterrupted action from StarCraft 2 in a sports centre, a sports arena no less, right in San Jose. It's going to be absolutely terrific. Don't forget, tomorrow, round of 16 kicks off. It's going to be brilliant. We'll see you then.